What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today I'm coming in with a video talking about the time that I dropped some Xanax and Sprite. Hope you guys enjoy. Drop a like if you do. And also, this is some Halo 5 gameplay, a little different, but I've been playing this game lately. I just picked it up, and Halo was like my childhood. So this game's fucking dope. If any of you guys played Halo 3 back in the day, you'll like this game. Halo 4 sucked dick, but Halo 5 is actually pretty fire. So either way, hope you guys enjoy. Let's dive into it. So, dropping Xanax and Sprite. Now, the first thing I want to clarify is that not only is this a terrible idea and a great way to ruin your drink, it doesn't even work very well. You know, there's going to be a shorter video because there's not really much to this. It kind of sucked. So, anyways, what ended up happening was I was in the McDonald's drive-thru with a buddy of mine who, what should we call her? We're going to call her Stephanie. Now, Stephanie and I had been friends for a while. You know, we'd known each other. She was an interesting character. You know, like our relationship was kind of weird because like I kind of had a thing for her, but like I didn't know if it was mutual because it was one of those friendships where like it seemed like you both might have liked each other, but neither of you had the balls to do anything. If you guys know what I'm talking about, because it was like not direct enough. So either way, it was one of those kind of friendships, but. You know, I'm in the drive-thru with Stephanie. We're in her car. I'm sitting shotgun. You know, we just smoked a blunt. I was pretty baked. And, you know, we're chilling. And she orders whatever. I don't know. I'm pretty sure she got, like, nuggets or some shit. That's what she always fucking got. And I only got a drink. I was like, yeah, you know, I'll grab a Sprite. So, you know, at this point, Sprite was my drink of choice. Let me tell you guys right now, Sprite over Coke any day. Coke tastes bad when it gets warm. Sprite is still fairly enjoyable when it gets a little less than, like, ice cold. But either way, so, you know, I order my Sprite. She got her nuggets or whatever. And we go park up in the McDonald's parking lot. You know, she's eating. I'm chilling there. I'm debating on rolling up another blunt. I ask her, I'm like, yo, you want to smoke some more? She's like, yeah, we could. And I had some Xans on me, but I didn't pop any yet. You know, I was just baked. I didn't really take any. And I had a couple Hulks on me. And, you know, I'm sitting there. I'm deciding whether or not I want to roll up a blunt or pop a Xan or do neither. I didn't really know what I wanted to do because we didn't really have anywhere to go. Like, neither of us had OC. Like, our parents were both home. You know, we didn't, like, have anywhere or anyone else who, like, had a place we could kick it at this point. So we were just kind of chilling and riding around smoking blunts, like, really doing nothing. So, you know, I'm sitting there for like maybe 5 minutes. She finishes eating, you know, yada, yada, whatever. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, and I don't think she knew I had Xans, but I busted out the bag. And I didn't have a ton. I had like 4 Hulks. And I offered her one. I was like, yo, you want a bar? She was like, yeah, sure, fuck it. So I passed her a Hulk. I had 3 more. You know, her bar tolerance wasn't the best, so she got pretty barred out, but not like too barred out to function. She still, like, she'd done bars before, but like, she didn't do them often. At this point in time, however, my bar tolerance was moderate. I'd say moderate. Like, 1 Hulk would get me like okay, but not super barred out. So, you know, I was going to pop them, and I was thinking about it, and I kind of wanted to try something different. You know, I'm not really sure what drove me to do this, but I remember, you know, I was sitting there thinking, and I was like, do I even want to pop this bar? I gave her one, but do I even want to? Because, you know, I didn't want to, like, just ride around barred out stuck in a car. Like, I wanted to, like, sprawl out on a couch and smoke a fat blunt while I'm on a bar, you know? So I was like, all right, you know what? I kind of want to. So I popped the first Hulk, and I had 2 more Hulks. I only ended up taking 2 on this night. I saved my last one. And the second one, I was thinking, and I was like, I wonder if you could put that in a drink. You know, and I had my Sprite right there. I'd only drank like half of it at this point. And I'm sitting there now, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I wonder if you could actually put it in a drink, because I'd heard in, you know, rap songs and shit like that, rappers talking about like dropping Xans and Sprite and like dropping, you know, bars and drinks and all that shit, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, I wonder if that actually works. And you know, what I ended up doing was I figured maybe if I put the whole bar in there, it wouldn't really work, but if I like broke it into pieces, it would maybe work. So I ended up breaking it into like 4 or 5 pieces, and I remember Stephanie was like watching me do it, and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, just watch, don't worry. So she's like, all right. So, you know, I take off the lid on my McDonald's Sprite. I broke it into like tiny ass pieces, maybe like 5 pieces, just fucking shit. And I just drop it in there, put the lid back on, and leave it. And she's like, does that work? And I was like, I don't really fucking know, in all honesty, but we'll find out. And let me tell you guys, it doesn't work. Don't do it. I mean, it kind of works, but not really. So anyways, what ended up happening was after she finished eating, I finished dropping the bar on my drink. We each popped a Xan. I was about to roll up a blunt, and she was like, all right, we should go find a spot to smoke. We should go do something, because I don't know, I don't want to sit in the car. And I was like, are you sure? Because if we're both about to be barred out, hotboxing this would be pretty nice. And she's like, that's a good point, actually. You're right. Let's fucking hotbox. So then we had to find a spot to go hotbox at, because all the stuff we'd done tonight, all we did was just smoke blunts, and we were just cruising around. Like, we didn't really park up. We were literally just driving and like taking turns driving. Like, she would drive, and then she'd be like, I don't feel like driving, and I'd whip it. And she had a like a decent little car. It was weird. It wasn't like a common brand for a teenager to drive, but it wasn't nice. It was like what the fuck was it? It started with an S. It was like, oh, dude, I'm never gonna fucking remember what brand this was. It was a weird brand. That's all I know. It was like a Scion, I think. Was it? Is that a car brand? That is, right? Scion. Hold on. No, I'm Googling this. Yo, wait. Time out, everybody. I'm fucking Googling this right now. That's a car brand, right? Scion? That's one? No, that's a kind of... No. Never mind. It started with a fucking S. Hold on. Okay. I don't fucking know. Either way, all I know is the car brand started with... Oh, wait, no. It wasn't... It was a sedan. It was a weird sedan with a weird car brand that was not Subaru. It was some boof-ass shit. But either way, it was an okay car. So we were taking turns driving. It was a nice little drive. It was a pretty light car. And, we're driving around looking for a spot to smoke. And there was one spot that everybody always smoked at, and we called it The Box. Now, for those of you guys who have watched my previous videos, you may know what The Box is. For those of you who don't, it's a little parking lot in this neighborhood of like townhouses, and it's just the spot. Like, it's not even a good spot. It looks pretty popped. Like, if you'd never heard of The Box and you pulled up there to smoke, you'd think, oh, I'm going to jail today. It doesn't even look like a good spot, but for some reason, nobody ever gets busted there. Everybody smokes at The Box. It's just a spot. So we're driving around, and I'm talking to her, we're chatting about shit, listening to music, and I was like, what about The Box? And she's like, all right. And maybe like 10, 15 minutes had gone by since we'd left McDonald's, because she was just cruising looking for something. And I still had the Xan in my Sprite, and I didn't even think about it. I like almost forgot that I dropped the Xan in my Sprite. And we park up at The Box, and I still hadn't rolled the blunt yet. I'd like gutted the paper while she was driving, but I hadn't actually like ground up the weed and rolled the blunt. So, I'm sitting there, we park up, I bust out my bud. I didn't have a ton. We rolled like maybe 1.5 grams, which was a decent sized blunt, I guess. But either way, I grind it up, we're rolling it up. It was some okay weed. It wasn't the best. It was okay weed. It was pretty mid-grade. I'm pretty sure it was like OG or some shit, which is a really like generic strain. But either way, I ground it up, rolled it up. It was a nice blunt, and I remembered, oh shit, I put that Xan in my Sprite. So what ended up happening was I passed her the blunt, and I was like, yo, go ahead and spark this. And, the rule always is whoever rolled it gets to spark it. And she was like, are you sure you don't want to spark it? And I was like, yeah, go ahead. So she sparks up the blunt. She rolls her windows up. We had the windows down, kind of cruising. And, she rolls her windows up, sparks the blunt. I take my Sprite, and I'm like, all right. I looked inside it before I drank it. I looked inside it because I wanted to see if anything was even happening. And it was kind of odd. Like, the water was... It was some... Well, not the water, the Sprite, but it basically looks like water. It was kind of murky, but it's almost like the little chunks that I threw in there like turned into like a chunky powder. It was very, very fucking weird. It was like, I don't know, it was just some murky dookie water. So dookie Sprite, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It looked like dookie water. But either way, I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm giving this a try. And let me remind you guys, I only had like half of the Sprite left when I dropped it in there, so there wasn't a ton to deal with the flavor. But anyways, I take a swig out of it. I just left the lid off at this point. I was like, fuck it, I'll just take a sip. And let me tell you guys, it was fucking gross. It was disgusting. It's like, when I drank it, not only did it taste like Xan, there was like little itty bitty like Xan particles in my mouth, like little tiny chunks of it, little tiny bits of it. Because the thing is, Xan isn't fully water soluble. Alprazolam, or whatever you want to call it, isn't fully water soluble, but you can still like put it in drinks technically and it will have an effect. It's not like invincible. Like if you fucking throw a bar into a lake, it's not going to survive, and fucking 200 years later, like explorers are going to go down to the lake and be like, we found a completely intact Xan fossil that had 0 water damage. Like that's not how it works. It's just resistant to water. Water, reduces the potency of it, and et cetera, et cetera. So either way, I'm taking sips of it, and it's like, it's gritty. It's gross. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like if you took a little bit of, it's like if you took a little bit of like salt, like not taste-wise, just like texture-wise. If you took a little bit of salt and just put it into some water, well, actually, no, that dissolves. That doesn't make sense. Okay, something like tiny and gritty, like sand. You put that into water, no, that would become like stuck together. Okay, you know what I fucking mean. It was dirty. But either way, so I'm sipping this, and it's fucking gross. And at this point, I'm like, there's nothing else I can do. I'm not going to dump this out. Like, my Hulk's in there. I'm not dumping it out. So what I ended up doing was I took a couple sips. I put it down to get a breather because I let her face the fuck out of that blunt for the most part because I was trying to get through this. And she was looking at my facial expressions, and she was like, that doesn't look fun. And I was like, no. It's truly not fun. And, she passes me the blunt after I put the cup down. She smoked maybe a quarter of it. I smack it, maybe like 3-4 times, not too much. I pass it back to her. And at this point, I really wanted to smoke the blunt. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to finish this fucking dirty shit water. So what I ended up doing was, I don't know why, but I plugged my nose. I was like driven to plug my nose because, I don't know, whenever I'm drinking, like if I take a shot with my nose plugged, I take it a little bit better. So I figured maybe it'd work with the Xans. So I just went bottoms up on the cup. And the dirtiest fucking part was at the very bottom of the cup, there was still little chunks of Xan that didn't get washed up. That didn't get dissolved at all or, go down the hatch. There was little chunks of it. And what I ended up doing was, there was like a good bit of it still down there. So what I ended up doing was I like scooped it all out with my finger. And I just straight rubbed it right on my fucking tongue. Like it was dirty. And she was looking at me and she was like, that looks fucking disgusting. And I was like, it's not, it's bad. It's bad. I mean, that's really all I had to say. And, after I finished rubbing that on my tongue, I had nothing to drink. So I just had this taste of dirty fucking booty cheek Xan on my tongue. And she was like, you need the blunt? Will that help? And I was like, yeah, please. So she passes me the blunt, and I'm smacking it as hard as I can because I'm trying to get the taste of weed or the taste of Xan out of my mouth, but I didn't have a drink anymore. I didn't have a fucking drink. So I'm smacking this blunt hard. I'm trying to like slowly swallow the Xan, and like it was disgusting. I mean, eventually I was like rummaging around her car because I was like, you have to have a fucking drink in here. Like the oldest, most ancient water. I don't care. There has to be something. And I was looking under her back seat, and lo and behold, right below there was like this warm ass half drank water. And I was like, I don't care. I want this. And she was like, that's probably old as fuck. And I was like, I really don't care. This is awful. So she was like, all right. And I downed that shit. This like warm, stinky fucking water. And it didn't matter. Either way, it saved my life. I'm pretty sure I would have died that day. But either way, I downed the Xan Sprite, smoked the blunt, let her finish it. We chilled for a little bit. We kind of drove around. I think we were baked, and like whenever we were together, we would just eat. Like we would just get food. So like we got that McDonald's, we smoked the blunt, popped the bar, chilled for like an hour in the hot box, and then we went and got more food. And then after we went and got more food, we went home. She dropped me off. She whipped it home. Yada, yada, yada. So either way, Xan Sprite, terrible experience. Would not recommend to anybody. I can't really say whether or not it had any impact because I popped a bar right before that and I smoked, but it seemed like it did, but I don't know. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.